Hi everyone, it's Vanessa here again. I'm just with you today to do a short Yin session. If anyone has done Yin before, I'm sure you love it. There's very few people who do it who hate it. And if you haven't done it, you're in for a treat. So all I need you to have available are some cushions. If you have a yoga mat or yoga blocks, fabulous. If you don't, cushions is all you need. Make sure you're warm enough. So if you've got aircon on and you might get a little bit cold staying still for a while, just maybe pop the aircon off. And that's about all you need to know. I will be talking you through a few things, so I'll have my head up and down, but I'll let you know when you can just relax your head and you can just listen to me. You don't need to see me. Okay, so all I'd like you to do to start off with is sit down on the floor and put your legs out like so. Now, a lot of us have very tight hamstrings and tight backs. So if you are sitting more like this, struggling to stay up, I want you to pop a cushion or two under your bum so that, can you see how my pelvis is tipped forward a little bit? You can sit up much straighter. And then all I want you to do is just flop forward. So most of the time, when you do Pilates, you'll be told to draw your abs in. This is a lot different, okay? So all I want you to do is flop forward wherever feels good. So I'm quite flexible, I can get to my toes, but if you can just get here, it's fine. Let your head hang, let your chin come in towards your chest as much as you can, and then I'm just going to get you to breathe and relax, okay? So as you're breathing and relaxing, I'm just going to be talking to you. So I'm going to sit up and talk so you can hear me a little bit better. In Yin classes, we typically hold the poses for between a minute to 10 minutes on each side, or for a pose. So for this one, I'm just going to make it very short, so 1 or 2 minutes for each pose. So I'll be looking down at my clock to make sure I don't keep you there forever. The reason for these long holds with the poses is that you are able to relax into a pose. So for example, with this one, if your legs, your hamstrings or your back feels very tight to start off with, it will be quite hard to get into this position, and you may very well just be like this. As you relax into the pose and over the coming minutes, you might find with a little bit of deep breathing that we're able just to relax a little bit further down as we go. So what I want you just to do now as you're down there is take a deep breath in, hold it, and then exhale through the mouth. That's it. And again, breathing in, nice, big, deep breath in. Hold it. And relax. One more time, breathing in, a bit longer and deeper than before. Hold it. And slowly relax. And just feel, as we've done that breathing, how your heart rate just slows down. Your thoughts slow a little bit more. And your body may just ease into that stretch. Just stay there for a few seconds longer. You've been there for about 2 minutes now. Excuse the bin man outside. So, as you come back up, I do want you to draw up through the pelvic floor, in through your abdominals, and roll all the way up to sitting. Slowly sit up, give your shoulders a little roll. And typically in Yin, you might lie back into a Savasana pose. I won't do that today because it will take up a little bit of time, but if you're interested, comment yes below and I will send you a full yin class with the rest poses in between. Okay, so from there, I'm going to get you to lie down onto your back. So if you have any problems with your back and you want a little bit more support, you can pop the cushion under your lower back or underneath your knees, wherever is good for you. I'm going to get you to take your arms out to the side, straighten your legs up, and just take your right foot up and over your left knee. Okay? And then we're going to roll towards your left-hand side. Sorry, I was just thinking left and right there. Okay, so you might feel that stretch through the back of your right shoulder, down through your back, across the side of that right leg. And now what I'm going to get you to do is turn your chin towards your right hand. And just turn as much as feels comfortable for you and stay there. I'm just going to get up and watch the clock and explain to you a little bit more about this pose. So as you're lying there, everything is twisting, all the organs, all the muscles, all the fascia. And by fascia, what I mean is the casing around your muscles. So if your fascia is tight, your muscles can't move as much. So for instance, if you're trying to run or if you're trying to stretch, it feels like there's not much give. If you stretch the fascia, we're able to stretch and move the muscles a little bit better. So if you're still kind of thinking, oh, what is this fascia stuff? I think of a piece of chicken. Now, if you've ever bought chicken and you see that sort of film over the top, it's not quite skin, it's a little bit see-through, but a little bit white. That is like fascia encasing the muscle. And if you imagine that get very tight, it kind of stops the muscle from moving as well. So the fascia stretching is a fabulous thing for the muscles and the skeleton, the mobility of your bones, and just your overall well-being. So as you lie there, I want you again to just breathe deeply. For some of you, it might be quite uncomfortable. For some of you, it might be absolutely fine. I just want you to move to where your body is able to move to. So if you feel like there's no way you can twist like I just did, don't worry about it. Just go to where your body is able to. And with these cushions, you can put them under your knees, under your bum, under your shoulders, whatever feels like it needs a little bit of support or softness. I just want you to kind of wedge yourself up so you feel comfortable enough to lie there for 1 minute. So I'm going to pop myself back down. We were over this way. And then from there, all I want you to do is gently turn your head up towards the ceiling, let your knee roll up towards the ceiling, and then just swap over legs. Now you might find that the right side now feels very long. That's a good sign. Left leg comes up towards the knee, left foot, sorry, comes up towards the knee, and then cross the foot over. And this time we're rolling toward your right hand side. As you roll, look toward your left hand. Now, if you can see me properly, my left shoulder is coming up off the floor. And for a lot of you, that will happen. What I want you to do is just breathe into that and just see whether that shoulder, once the pecs, the muscles through here, relax and stretch out, whether the shoulder starts to drop down towards the floor. Let your head again just drop to wherever's comfortable and think of everything being heavy down onto the mat. Same thing again, just stay there as still as possible, and I'm going to come up and just talk you through it. So when you do two different sides of a pose, you may find the right side is brilliant, and then you go onto the left side and it's completely different. Please don't think you're weird. Everybody is very different on both sides, and often if you're right-handed, you'll have a very tight right shoulder or neck, even hip. As opposed to left, and vice versa. So there are always reasons. Through the hips, often you'll cross the right leg over the left, and you'll be a little bit twisted through the hips and pelvis, or shorter through the side of your hip up to your ribs. If you think of it as it's just years of life doing the same thing over and over again, and it's got you ingrained in your thoughts, ingrained in your feelings, ingrained in everything you do, really. So think of just changing these things up a little bit for yourself. And it's almost like if you want to lengthen something, you can do these little things like not crossing your legs over the same way every time, like holding your phone to the other ear. It sounds stupid, but by holding your phone up to one ear, you're going to get tightness through neck and shoulder on that side as opposed to the other side. And little things like that can really make a difference to your tightness in your muscles, to the way you actually think about doing things, the way you have gratitude to be able to do these things. Because if you've ever tried to change something, for example, brushing your teeth with the other hand, you'll notice it's not that easy. Okay, so that's another minute there on that side. So where were we? This side. So gently draw the abs in, roll back up, and just bring your knees in towards your chest. Give them a hug. And I just want you to stay here. Now, if you're comfortable with the cushion under your back, go for it. Mine was just there and it's not comfortable for me. So I'm just going to get you to stay here. Yeah, you can see me. And then just bring your feet up towards the ceiling, hands onto the soles of your feet, and just let your hands be heavy on the soles of your feet. So they'll be pulling your knees down towards your armpits, okay? Now, if you find this pose difficult to get into, I'm quite flexible, so it's fine for me, but I know not everybody has great hips and flexibility. So if you do find this difficult, my advice is to bring one foot down onto the floor and the other foot up towards the ceiling and grab it. If you find that difficult, pop something around your foot, a towel or something, and just pull down with your hands, almost like your hands are just heavy to the floor, and then hold it there. So I'm just going to do it as if you've got 2 feet up. You're pressing your hands down onto the soles of the feet, and the feet should be as relaxed as possible. Knees dropping down to the shoulders, drawing the chin towards the chest just to lengthen through the back of the neck. And I'll get you just to stay there as I come up and chat to you again. So this is just going to start opening up through the hips. If you are tight through the hips, you'll be feeling this right now, but that's a good thing. I want you to start thinking about the area where you're feeling it. So some of you will feel it deep within the hips. Some of you will feel it through the back of the legs more. Some of you may feel it through the back, even the shoulders. Wherever you feel it, it isn't wrong. It's just where you're tight, you'll feel it most. So as your eyes are closed there and you're breathing into it, I just want you to feel and imagine that feeling. So for a second now, just imagine that feeling. and give it a colour for me. So it might be a red if it's a really tight feeling. But whatever colour is good for you. And then I want you to give it a texture. So everyone will be very different. Some people will feel it's a bit spiky and a difficult position to be in. Other people will find it a little bit more easy and almost comfortable to be in. So they may feel a more rounded, squishy type feeling. But for you, what is it for you? And then I want you to think of the intensity. And then as we sit in that pose just a little longer, I want you just to tune into your body and see whether that feeling, that colour, that intensity and the place where you have that feeling moves. So for example, you may feel it deep in the hips to start off with, but then as your body relaxes into the pose and creates a little bit of ease in the pose, you may feel it change up to the legs or the feet, even the back. Everyone will feel it differently. Nothing is right, nothing is wrong. It's just the way you're feeling it. And this is very similar to life in the sense that, you know, nothing that we're feeling is right or wrong. It's just the way we feel it. So if you're the type of person who, feels something a certain way, for example, if you get ratty with your kids or stressed with work, try to reframe that as, oh, I always get ratty with the kids, or oh, I always get stressed at work. You'll be thinking of it as I shouldn't. It's not right. I'm wrong. I want you to reframe it as it's just the way it is. It's just the way I'm feeling right now. And I'm just going to ease into it and feel how it changes. So you're not wrong. It's just how you're feeling. And as you ease into it, will change and move. And the more you can do this, the more you can relax and let go. Brilliant. So from that position, I just want you to bring your feet towards one another so the soles of the feet are touching and they can come down toward your belly. Let the knees drop out to the side. You might feel this stretching through your inner thighs. We're just going to stay here for a few seconds, just while your back uncurls a little bit. And then very gently pop your feet down onto the floor. Brilliant. Now take your arms out wide, about shoulder height, and you can just window wipe the knees down to one side, doesn't matter which side you start with, and then down to the other side. Just very gently, side to side, just to ease through the back. With Yin, because the stretches are longer, sometimes your back will feel a little like, oh, have I gone a little bit too far? But it just needs to recalibrate, and doing a little bit of a swish from side to side slowly just enables everything to slot back into place nicely. Brilliant. So from there, I'm going to get you to stretch out your legs again. And then all I'm going to get you to do is roll over on the side once more. So roll over, I'm just thinking which way to show you. Roll over onto your front to start off with for me. And take one arm out to the side. Turn your head to the other side, and I'm going to get you to push into the floor to roll backwards towards the hand that is out to the side. Drop your head towards the floor, and you can just bend your knee, relax your foot, or have your foot in front of you, wherever is good. And just stay there. I'm going to get up again so that you can hear me properly as I'm speaking. So this stretch is fantastic for the pecs, and most of us work at computers, whether we work for ourselves or other people. I don't know if there is a job these days that you don't work on a computer. Most of our day is done forward, so whether we're driving, carrying things, and there's very few people who haven't got tight pecs. So a stretch through this area is fantastic for anyone who has tension through the neck, tension through the chest, through the upper back and shoulders. If you get headaches, fantastic. So all you need to do is rest your weight on that shoulder and pec area. It will be a strong stretch. So if you want to ease off on the stretch, just roll over to the original side a touch and don't stay there for quite so, not stay there for quite so long. Sorry, I'm telling you the wrong thing, but not go to such an extent with the roll. Keep breathing again, and as with all of these yin poses, I'd like you just to ease into it and stay as still as possible. So sometimes you'll feel like fidgeting, especially with ones like this that are quite intense. And the fidget is almost like, you know, in life when you don't like things and you want to push back. You know, if you're having a discussion with someone and you don't like their point of view and you might want to push back, or you might get frustrated by people's reactions to things. This is the same, but within your own body. So you're not liking the sensation that the stretch is giving to you, and you want to get out of it. You want to push back. You want to stop it hurting you or giving you grief in some way. But if you're able to sit with it, to ease into it, to feel into it, that tension will go completely, and the feeling you'll get is completely different. You might actually start to enjoy that feeling. So just breathe into it a little bit longer. We'll have a couple more seconds here, and then we'll change over sides. I'm just going to get down into that position again for you so that you can see when I get up how we do this. So just very gently, you can roll your knee back down towards the floor and turn over so that your legs are long, and just bring your hands under your forehead and relax there. And I want you just to stay there for a few seconds, just so that tingling through the front of the chest relaxes a little bit. Take a deep breath, and we'll do exactly the same on the other side. So coming from your rest position, all I want you to do is straighten out your right arm this time and roll toward your left. Sorry, straighten out your left arm and roll toward your left. So again, you can take that foot behind you or foot in front, whatever is good for you. And again, if you need to prop yourself up with cushions, so for instance, if your chest feels really uncomfortable, you can pop your cushion under your chest or under your head. Sometimes people like it like a pillow here, which is quite nice with the sun in my face. And exactly the same as before, I want you just to breathe and relax into it. That's it. And again, just picture where you feel it, the colour, the shape, the sensation, maybe even the dislike, the discomfort. And then I want you to match that discomfort up to something that is annoying you, frustrating you, just getting on your back, whether it be a situation at work, whether it be your kids, whether it be your mother-in-law. I just want you to link it up with something like that and see whether you can sit with that situation and see whether sitting with it, not reacting to it, just easing into it, will create it to change in some way. Just like the stretch, easing into it is creating change in some way. With yin, that change will always be a good change. With situations out of yin, you can never tell the change that will happen, but the change within you, being able to sit with it instead of flaring up, instead of shifting out of the situation, instead of backing off, that will create more confidence, more certainty, more control over your own actions and your own feelings, which is always a good thing. So I'll just give you a few more moments here, just again, breathing deeply. One more time. Just feel your body becoming more grounded, able just to ease into that stretch some more. Maybe feeling like it's not such a toll. You can actually find some ease in this position rather than just tensing up and thinking, oh, this is hard. So just getting down again. And again, just rolling over. So bringing your foot towards the floor to roll over to the front. If you have got the cushion underneath you, just push it away. And again, hands under the forehead and just lie down. Let your legs relax, let your feet relax. You can just let your heels drop out to the outside of the room so the toes will fall slightly together. And what that does is just allows the back of the legs to relax, your glutes, the bum muscles to relax, and then your lower back to relax even more. And just let your head feel heavy on your hands. Let your elbows slide out to the sides more. And just feel like your body is melting into the floor. That's it. And I'm just going to give you 1 minute there. As you melt into the floor, just feel how far you've come just in this 15 minutes. Being able to release. Being able to sit with it. Perhaps going past the perceived pain to something that feels comfortably uncomfortable. Now from there, just coming up, I'm going to get you to pop your feet up like so and pop them underneath you. I'm just going to change that so you can see my feet. Okay, so your toes are underneath, pointing toward your knees, and you're going to sit down onto your feet so that your toes stay there. Now, this for some people will be absolutely hideous. For other people, it will be fine. So if you're one of those people who finds it completely hideous, please bear with me. Okay, now if your knees are uncomfortable, pop cushion underneath your knees so you're propped up, and maybe if your ankles even are uncomfortable, pop the cushion under your ankles. You can even pop it under your bum and sit, and it will be a little bit less on your quads and maybe a little bit more comfortable on your calves as well. But what I want you to do is try and sit up on your heels, okay? So you can feel your sit bones on your heels. If you've got really, really tight feet, and this is absolutely hideous for you, bring your weight forward and pop your fingers on the floor, and that will just take it off your calves and ankles quite so much. But if you can, just stay sitting like this. Now, this is especially good for the fascia in the feet. And the reason I'm doing this is because a lot of people have massively tight feet and tight fascia in the feet. If we are able to release the fascia in the feet, it can then lead up to the fascia through the legs, through the hips, bum, all the way up to the upper body. Obviously, just by releasing the feet isn't going to cure everything in the world, but by releasing the feet, it can create a release through the legs and just make you feel much lighter through the feet. If you ever wake up in the morning and have tight soles of the feet, or maybe you're a little bit hobbly out of bed, this one is fantastic to do just daily. If it feels hideous now, please, please, please try and do it consistently, because the difference will be massive and quite quick as well if you are able to do this consistently. So as you're sitting here, by now, I would imagine you're feeling a tingling through the bottom of the feet, through the shins, through the calves. That tingling is just where the blood flow is being compromised slightly. Now, I say that just so that you know what's going on. Please don't panic. It's not a bad thing. It won't cut off your blood supply completely. And what it will do, once we do release this pose, the blood flow will take any toxins and things that it needs to through to the lymph nodes and through to remove it from our systems, which is fantastic. So some people feel a hotness when they do this. Other people feel everything goes very cold. Other people feel it's spiky. Again, what you feel is absolutely right. And each time you do it, it might be different as well. So if you do this again by yourself, because it is a very easy thing to do, even if you wanted to watch a TV program for 5 minutes sitting like this, you could. If the next time you do it, you feel a hot sensation, but today you're feeling a cold sensation, don't think you've done anything wrong. It's just your body's reaction to it on a different day. So it might be to do with your hormones on that day. It might be to do with the stress on that day. It might be just to do with how tight your feet are or not. Just know that as long as you're not in pain, that is, I've got to go to the hospital, you're good. This is discomfort rather than the pain. So we've been here about a minute now. I'm going to get you to sit for a little bit longer. Those who have got very tight feet, usually people who wear heels or actually have to wear shoes a lot. And I say that because I hardly ever wear shoes. I teach Pilates and yoga, so in the studio I just wear bare feet, and around the house I wear bare feet as I do hypnotherapy. The only time I really do wear shoes now is walking up and down the road. So my feet are very used to this. Whereas when I used to work more in corporate, and I used to manage a sports medicine centre in Sydney, I used to have to wear heels, and my feet were so tight from being, not that my shoes were too small, but just being in a certain position all day. This used to kill me, and now it's absolutely fine. So take a few more deep breaths, and I want you just to close your eyes down if they're not already. And I just want you to take a few minutes just to picture something that you really love. It might be someone you really love. It might be an animal. It might be a place, whatever it is, something that makes you feel so happy, so much gratitude, so much love. And I just want you to take a big, deep breath in. Bring that happiness and love into your heart. And exhale. Now it's yours. Open the eyes up and just lean forward, uncurl the toes. I'm just going to flip this down so you can see what I do. As you uncurl the toes, they'll feel a little bit stuck. And all I want you to do is pat them lightly on the floor or on the mat, and they'll just get a little bit of life into them. And before long, you'll be able to move your feet just as you normally do. Now, come to sitting, either cross-legged, kneeling, on a pillow, whatever is good for you. I want you to sit up tall, relax your shoulders, close your eyes one more time. Take a deep breath in, take the arms up overhead. Imagine you're catching all that love and happiness that you just thought of. Bring your hands together and bring it down to your heart center. Namaste. Crack your eyes open. I hope you're feeling good after that very short session. If you want to know more or would like to do some sessions, do comment in the posts below. Can't get my words out, and I will hook you up with a more full class for your enjoyment. Okay, thanks everybody, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.